Oregon State is traveling to Boulder to take on the Buffs, man. They are a 13.5-point underdog. And, man, ever since Colorado started out 3-0, this team has been free-falling. I believe they've lost, 1 out of 4 of their last couple of games. They got beat up by UCLA. Shedeur Sanders got sacked 7 times. It's like UCLA's defense was having an all-they-can-sack buffet on Shedeur Sanders, and they're going up against another good defensive line. All right, Oregon State has a really good pass rush. They rank 18th in the nation in sacks per game. They also are really good on the offensive line as well. They got a pretty solid defense, a really nice secondary. Now, offensively, DJ Uiagalelei, I think that his stats are really deceiving. He has 17 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions, but anytime I've seen him play against a Power 5 opponent, he has completed less than 60% of his passes. Last week against Arizona State, he was overthrowing wide open wide receivers. He's just really erratic. He's just not really that good. I think he's really overrated. I think that he's getting a little bit too much praise for somebody who just really isn't that great of a quarterback. I think he's a okay college quarterback, but I don't really think he's all that good. And even though Colorado's defense has been a liability for the majority of this season, they played one of their best games last week against UCLA. They forced several first-half turnovers, including 2 of those coming from Travis Hunter picking off Ethan Garbers. You look at DJ Uiagalelei, I definitely think he's going to be able to chuck a couple up to Travis Hunter in this game. He doesn't really make the best decisions with the football. I just don't think DJ Uiagalelei is a great quarterback. And I don't think that Oregon State's offense is just going to function without any flaws, and they're just going to go up and down the field on Colorado like how Oregon and USC were able to do. I do think that Colorado in this matchup, they got a better chance to win this game potentially than what they did against UCLA. And that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm saying that Ethan Garbers is a better quarterback than DJU, but he kind of looked like it. DJ Uiagalelei, like, the dude just isn't really that great. He just leaves a lot of big plays on the field, and anytime you got a quarterback like DJ Uiagalelei that struggles with decision-making and making accurate throws from inside of the pocket, it gives a team like Colorado the opportunity to hang in games. If Oregon State is going to win this game and they're going to run through Colorado, it's going to be because they put a lot of emphasis on just running the football. And honestly, if you're Oregon State, you really shouldn't do anything but run the football. You don't really need to throw the football on Colorado all that much. DJ Uiagalelei, he shouldn't need to throw the football more than 17, 18 times for you to be able to win this game. Colorado's defensive line has not shown the ability to stop the run at all. Okay? Oregon State, they got a really good offensive line with a lot of veteran experience. Colorado, they got a defensive line that outside of Jordan Dominic is simply not that good. Oregon State, if they get pass happy, I think that it can keep things close for Colorado. Now, the thing with Colorado is, okay, Deion Sanders publicly called out the offensive line in his post-game press conference after they lost to UCLA and Shedeur Sanders was getting thrown around like a rag doll. All right? Are we going to see the offensive line improve their performance? Are we going to see some changes made? Is Colorado going to be more than just an air raid offense? Because that's really all this team has been. You got All McCaskill, who is a really good running back, and they're not really giving him a lot of opportunities. It's like Colorado just doesn't care about being balanced. If they can find a little bit of balance in this game and they can play some complementary football, I do think that they can have a little bit of success running the ball on this Oregon State front. But if this just becomes a matchup where they're asking Shedeur to sling it 50 times, this game is going to go the same way that it did last week against UCLA. You are going to have the home field advantage, and it is going to be rocking, all right? But Oregon State, man, they're just a well-oiled team up front on both sides, offensive line and defensive line. Colorado's going to have to make some major adjustments to their style of play. And I just don't think that Colorado's style of play fits them going up against a team like Oregon. Colorado, for them to have a chance to be able to win games, they got to go up against teams that either have no offense at all, or they got to go up against teams that aren't physical. And Oregon State is one of the more physical teams in the Pac-12 conference, just like UCLA. And Colorado, they got beat down in the second half of that UCLA game. UCLA was pretty much doing whatever they wanted to in the fourth quarter against that Colorado defense. Even though Colorado's defense played a pretty good game, it's just offensively, you need more. You just can't expect Shedeur Sanders to just carry you to a win against a team like Oregon State. Hell, Caleb Williams is going to potentially be the first quarterback taken off the board in next year's draft, and even USC can't just overly rely on him to win games. You see, in this conference, you got to be able to play complementary football. You got to be able to get physical when it involves you being able to get physical, and Oregon State is just a far more physical team than what Colorado is. You see, Colorado, they got receivers that are going to be able to get open. But if Shedeur Sanders is going to have enough time to throw them the football, it doesn't matter how good your receivers are. If Shedeur Sanders drops back in 0.3 seconds, he got a guy clotheslining him from hell, JBL style. It's like people say Shedeur Sanders holds on to the ball too long, but I mean, is holding on to the ball in 0.3 seconds too long? I mean, like, for most quarterbacks, that's pretty fast. And the play calling kind of has to be a little bit more diverse. All right, there are people who want Colorado to get more of the quick game going in the passing game, but it's kind of hard to get the quick passing game going when teams know your offensive line can't hold up and they're just going to play up on you, take away the underneath stuff, and force you to have to make throws downfield. Shedeur Sanders, if he can get a little bit of time in this game to throw the football, there's a good chance that Colorado can pull off this upset. And somebody in the comment section last week said that you said it yourself, JT, before the season that there's not a single team on Colorado's schedule that they can't beat. Yeah, and I meant that. When Shedeur Sanders has some damn time to throw the football, Coach Prime, before every game starts, what do they always ask him? Coach Prime, what do you need to do to win? We need to protect two. If we can keep two upright, we should be able to win this game. If Colorado's offensive line can, finally learn how to pass block, and these coaches can teach them how to pass block, this game can be close. And I do think that Colorado can cover that 13.5-point spread. People make it seem like even though Colorado has lost a good amount of games, that they haven't really been a great team when it comes to covering when they've been underdogs, because it's been the polar opposite. Anytime Colorado has been an underdog outside of when they played Oregon, they've been easy money. They covered against UCLA. They covered against USC. And if you can give Shedeur Sanders some time to throw the football, I do think that this game becomes really interesting. The question is that going to happen? Is Coach Prime and this coaching staff going to make the necessary adjustments? Because I don't think that Colorado has done, to be honest with you, a great job at really being able to make end-game adjustments. I don't really be seeing any new guys starting on the offensive line. I haven't seen different offensive line combinations. They're just sticking with the same thing. It's not working, and they continue to do it. Sean Lewis only tries to run the football for the first quarter, and then for the other 3 quarters, he just completely forgets about it. Oregon State, I don't think they cover in this game. But I do think that they're going to win this game, and I think they win it by at least 10 points. I don't think they're going to, carve up Colorado, because they're not one of those teams that are built offensively just to shred you. And when you go back and you watch DJ Uyunglele play against Arizona, he didn't have a great game. He was leaving a lot of plays on the field, and with him being an inconsistent quarterback, I definitely think that that's going to hurt Oregon State's offense. Is definitely going to give Colorado some opportunities to hang around with them. If this was a better quarterback, I believe Oregon State probably runs away with this game, because they're just so much more physical and so much better up front than what Colorado is. But I do think that Colorado is still going to be able to hang around. Colorado has shown that in most games when they've been underdogs, they've been able to at least cover. So I'm still going to put money on Coach Prime and these boys to cover. I've been winning a lot of money all season long, betting on Colorado to cover. And underdog situations, and this is going to be another situation where I put my money on Coach Prime and these boys to cover, but I do think that Oregon State is going to win this game. I just don't think that they're going to dominate just because their style of play. If this was, one of those Tennessee kind of offenses where they were going 100 miles per hour, they were air raid, aired you out, spread you out, I think they probably win this game pretty convincingly, but they don't have that kind of offense. They're slow, methodical, and DJ Uyunglele just isn't that good. So I think that Colorado can stay around in this game and keep it competitive.